precious stage of life. A child's innocence is of incomparable beauty and should be seriously protected. What if that innocence were forcibly taken away, demolished, and never to return? What if a supposedly trustworthy adult took advantage of an innocent child for his own sexual gratification? The prospect is unthinkable. Yet it routinely occurs within an institution designed to help all of mankind. Catholic priests sexually abuse and molest children, and the Catholic Church protects not innocent children, but the child molesters. Resolved that the Catholic Church protects child molesters. Under the affirmative definition, a child is anyone under the age of 18. Molestation is the act of subjecting someone to unwanted sexual advances. These acts include inappropriately touching, disrobing, and raping children. Canon law is essentially the Church's legal system. This body of laws within the Roman Catholic Church is meant to prosecute members of the clergy engaged in criminal activity and has failed miserably to do so in instances of child molestation. Historically, sexual abuse by priests is far from new. Such problems have existed for hundreds of years, although it is difficult to know the extent of the abuse due to the secrecy of canon law. Papal laws dating back to 1561 address the vile practice of priests soliciting sex in confessionals. Thousands of cases prior to the 19th century involves priests sexually abusing parishioners. Failed by ecclesiastical procedures, victims of sexual abuse by priests turned to civil courts for help for the first time in 1985. A chilling pattern came to light. Instead of helping victims and prosecuting priests, church officials intimidated the victims in hopes of keeping them quiet. To this day, the church values protecting itself more than children. I am here today to defend the value of keeping children safe and the value of justice itself. The role of the church must be to keep its members safe, to keep us all safe. The sheer enormity of this issue is cause for intense concern. A study conducted by the John Jay College of Criminal Justice on the sexual abuse of minors by priests found that between 1950 and 2002, there were 10,667 individuals who made allegations of child molestation by priests in the United States alone. In addition to physical harm, long-term emotional damage results from child molestation. While serving as an altar boy, David Jerobi of Kentucky was sexually abused by a priest. As an adult, he wrote of the torment he suffered as a child and in the years following the abuse. On a cold Tuesday morning in February, David Jerobi shot himself outside of the Blessed Mother Catholic Church and died that same day. He was 23 years old. Some of his final writings stated, "The abuse within the church is real. Let it be known. It doesn't make you a non-believer. It doesn't jeopardize your faith. It is the right thing to do." David wanted the world to know of the suffering he and many others like him faced, though he himself could no longer bear the pain. Children like David are being endangered by clergy all around the world. Those sexually abusing children within the church are protected by the church. Church officials obstruct justice in the name of preserving their own positions of power. In Ireland, children living in church-run institutions, including schools, reformatories, and orphanages, faced 6 decades of abuse from priests, nuns, and teachers by whom they were supposed to be protected. This abomination was outlined in a 2009 report by Ireland's Commission to Inquire into Child Abuse. Living in a climate of perpetual fear, these children faced beatings, verbal abuse, and rape. The church protected the abusers. Chairman of the commission, Judge Sean Ryan, said that when facing molestation allegations, church officials responded by simply moving the sex offenders to another location instead of prosecuting them. Many of these offenders were able to abuse children again. The safety of the children was not considered. Unfortunately, the practice of shuffling around priests accused of molesting children to different locations is all too common within the Catholic Church. Other instances of the obstruction of justice by the church can be seen in our own backyard. Within the Philadelphia Archdiocese, a series of suspensions of priests accused of sexual abuse have recently occurred. These suspensions only happened due to pressure from an accusatory grand jury report which condemned the prosecution practices of church officials. The Inquirer reports, of those files the grand jury reviewed, it asserted the archdiocese had dismissed credible abuse allegations on flimsy pretexts, such as the victim's misremembering the layout of a rectory or the year in which the priest served. The grand jury could not comprehend why there was no sense of urgency among those in charge. Why was there not immediate, serious action when allegations of child molestation arose? Why would the Catholic Church prevent the prosecution of the worst sort of criminals? The Church values preserving itself above the safety of children and above the administration of justice. To allow such obvious obstructions of justice is to undermine the legitimacy of justice itself. When a crime is committed, there must be punishment. Without such a system, society cannot function, and criminals remain free. When trust is broken and children are permanently scarred, a tragedy has occurred. When a crime against the most innocent among us goes unpunished, justice itself is undermined. Covering up heinous crimes and protecting criminals is wrong.